Elon confirmed two big separate Tesla news stories, one about FSD and the other one is this one. Elon Musk has revealed that so far 90% of Tesla's retail shareholders who have already voted have voted in favor of reapproving his 2018 compensation package and the Texas redomestication. This is huge news because roughly 45% of Tesla is owned by retail Tesla shareholders like you and me. We also found out that Norway's sovereign fund, which holds $1.7 trillion in assets, is going to vote against Elon. I personally think that this fund should sell its Tesla stock at 2018 prices. Then it would be fair. To which Elon replied, if they actually surveyed their constituents, they would discover overwhelming support in favor. So far, roughly 90% of retail shareholders who have voted in favor of both resolutions. The public sentiment is unequivocally supportive. Having this information, we now know that, of course, retail shareholders are voting more in favor than we previously thought before. Based on the data from eToro, we thought that only 80% of Tesla retail shareholders are voting in favor, but things are actually looking better than before. However, I wouldn't be that overly optimistic yet because for some reason, Tesla's board and Elon Musk have been even more vocal lately about this issue, asking people to vote. If it was already a slam dunk, I don't think the board and Elon Musk would be paying this much attention to this issue. Maybe the compensation package is not really at risk anymore, but the Texas issue is definitely still at risk. Finally, it is happening. This is big. Tesla's FSD supervised V12.4.1 is now starting to roll out to a select few normal Tesla owners in North America. And yes, indeed, there is no more steering wheel nag, which some users reported as game-changing. It's still a bit early to judge its performance. We need more data, but Elon is trying to keep the expectations rather low. Expect the level of polish to improve considerably with each point release, which is sort of what happened with V12 in the beginning. It was not that good at all. I looked at some of the early videos, the first leaked one, I was like, ugh. But then the next few point releases made it so much better, and then I got to try it and I was mind blown. So maybe the same thing is happening here as well. FSD definitely works better here. I encounter this situation often and it usually doesn't work, but here it just works perfectly. So he just flipped the sign from stop to slow and the car knows to go. Omar had a no interventions drive. It's a 23-minute drive. Doesn't look too difficult, so I wouldn't know if it's really much better or not. Here's another drive from Omar. This time he had two interventions, one takeover, failing to respond to construction workers' hand signals, one accelerator, press after standoff, making left turn. The intervention is coming up now, somewhere around here. Here we go. Okay. The car is not listening to the gestures. Okay, and here's the second intervention. The car stops, and then he presses the accelerator pedal. So the first intervention, that one, we know that Elon said that this current version is sort of going to recognize some of the hand gestures, but not all of them. And the next few iterations eventually are going to completely nail it. Maybe. That's what Elon said. So Omar says, the newest FSD version shows promise, but needs some polish. Expect the next version or the next version after that to go wide depending on how things go. 12.4.1 isn't quite ready to replace 12.3.6 yet, but will soon. And Elon admitted it's an accurate assessment. In the meantime, Tesla Raj just drove 20 miles and didn't touch the steering wheel, and it's on the newest version. Dirty Tesla just finished a 30-mile, 45-minute drive on the latest FSD version, mostly back rural roads, speeds up to 55 miles an hour. The entire drive, I didn't need to touch the wheel one time. Quite the improved experience versus the wheel nag. He had several interventions though. 3 times severely slowing, stabbing brakes for blinking yellow lights, needing an accelerator push. FSD does not know what speed limit and signs mean, so he tried to drive 35 miles per hour in a 55 zone for many miles, requiring many accelerator presses, so definitely training needs to be done there. One time he needed to press the accelerator pedal when the car didn't want to go from a stop sign for a huge gap in high-speed cross traffic, and that was it. Overall, the drive was extremely comfortable and confident, but still some help needed. So some people are upset, but he points out after adapting to the new eye tracking, it is superior experience to yanking the wheel. If you prefer the old style, you can still do that. But his experience has been improved now. Also, since Dave Lee downloaded the newest FSD version, his only comment about FSD was that the vision-based driver monitoring on the latest version works well. So I'm pretty sure his experience has not been overly impressive. Otherwise, I'm sure he would have posted something. But he does love having no steering wheel nag. You just need to look straight ahead instead of yanking the steering wheel, which I definitely consider as a big improvement. You will see this green light right here. That means your cabin camera is looking at you and you are being monitored. James is not impressed with early reviews, but he says we should give Tesla a few weeks to polish the software, and then we should look at the user data and see how many interventions everyone is actually having. I definitely agree with James, and Farzad has a good point here. 12.4.2 or 3 will be where the magic is at. 12 releases have been this way thus far. Usually the polish within the point release goes up dramatically after they kill the early bugs. And some driving situations have actually been improved with the latest version. For example, here, the latest version slows for a kitty crossing the street and 100% reacted before I would have, as I was glancing at the screen to change music. Driving with FSD overall is safer without it, especially if you're changing music or you're looking away from the road even for just 1 millisecond. Sunglasses on FSD v12.4.1 disables the camera monitoring and goes back to steering wheel nag, but the nag frequency is significantly reduced. And this is good. FSD now goes around some garbage in the road after it's in the front camera's blind spot. You can see the garbage right here, and the vehicle just goes around it. Very good. Elon said, yeah, it remembers now. New FSD version now sometimes occasionally rolls stop signs, in this case at 1 mile per hour. An AI driver had more experiences like that. It makes him happy. And let's not tell Nitsa, everyone, please. I think this is the best summary of the new FSD version. Feels more capable, but needs a lot more polish. Feels much more assertive, human-like, while turning in general, especially U-turns, stop signs, and parking lots. Not any hesitancy or odd creeping in any of the intersections I've gone through so far. It just goes for it. It slowed down when a police officer turned on his lights beside my car. I know for a fact 12.3 didn't react to emergency lights at all. Auto speed has regressed a little bit, at least at nighttime. It was going 5 miles per hour under the speed limit most of the time and never went 2 miles per hour over, where 12.3 was always 5 to 6 miles per hour over on the same roads. Huge regression in random lane changes. It feels very indecisive about which lane it wants to be in. It was going back and forth between 2 lanes in short periods of time on multiple roads around where I live. Lane dancing still a thing in a couple of intersections, but seems to be more decisive. 12.3 was definitely worse, but it's not completely fixed yet. It's spotted some pedestrians crossing the street I never saw, and I doubt 12.3 would have waited for. Vision auto park feels much faster. Shifts are super quick, and it feels like it knows what it's doing. I might actually use it a bit now. And now we can actually turn the steering wheel to full log during U-turns. It used to stop before turning all the way. So here's an extreme example of lane changes. 6 lane changes in under 1 minute. I sped it up, of course, a little bit, but you can see it's changing lanes here. Okay, well, maybe it just wants to be on the right lane, which is what you're supposed to do in Europe, but no, there was no real reason to do it. And now it's going left. I don't see the navigation here, or maybe it thinks it will need to turn left sometime soon. I don't know, but obviously AI driver was not happy with this indecisiveness, and to me as a driver that would be quite annoying. I will post a new video today on this new channel. Only click on the link down below and subscribe to this channel if you support Elon Musk politically, otherwise don't subscribe. Alexandra doesn't have much hope, but this is specifically for the Texas issue. Remember that the brokers cannot vote on this item. Look at the last column below. Of this we need 50% plus 1 vote for the redeem to win. There's a bit of a sliver of hope though, so no wonder Tesla is pushing everyone so hard. Back to the Norway fund. So they're voting against Elon's compensation package, but actually they are voting for the Texas issue. They don't mind Tesla being located in Texas. And they told a massive big lie here. We appreciate the significant value generated under Mr. Musk's leadership since the grand date in 2018. Obviously, they don't believe these words. I mean, they don't appreciate it because otherwise they would vote in favor of ratifying that compensation plan. Clearly, Elon is quite upset about this. It is an embarrassment for Norway. Another pension fund in Norway announced they will vote against the 2018 compensation plan, but for the Texas issue. Now, in the case of this pension fund, in 2018, seemingly they were against Elon's compensation package. So to some degree, I can see why they would vote this way, but that still doesn't make them right. Rob Maurer shared some thoughts about Elon's compensation package. He voted for ratifying it. These are his thoughts from 2018, but he just shared some new thoughts. I have always believed that this plan was excellent for shareholders. I was right. The shares I owned when recording these thoughts are up 800% compared to the S&P 500, up 80%. This compensation plan was fundamental to that outperformance in many ways, from securing Musk's leadership to talent acquisition, retention to investor confidence, and more. If Tesla would have underperformed, Elon Musk would have received nothing. What Tesla has accomplished is unparalleled. For anyone to look back in hindsight and diminish how extremely difficult these milestones were to achieve is outrageous. I think the primary reason some shareholders are questioning this vote is due to the share price performance over the last couple years, and I believe that is extremely short-sighted on top of being irrelevant to this issue. I held shares from 2013 that were in the red in 2019, 6 years later. People were also frustrated then, but it would have been wrong to use that as justification to retract Elon's very similarly structured 2012 compensation plan. Fortunately, I let my analysis and my ethics determine my actions rather than being influenced by market sentiment, and it paid off. I hope other shareholders won't be prisoners at the moment in 2024, but unfortunately some already are. I'm not going to point any fingers, I'm just going to share my screen. Occasionally, Leo makes some fair points, but his comments have been very one-sided, telling only one small part of the whole story. Those who vote no, he calls smart and independent, and those who vote yes, he called us dumb, which of course definitely makes sense because the California Public Employee Retirement System is smart money, and Ron Barron, one of the great asset managers alive, is dumb money. Leo is a smart man, obviously, because he's a multi-billionaire and he built a huge private company. That just doesn't happen if you're actually dumb. I made a video on Patreon explaining why I think he's doing this. For those of you voting no on Elon's compensation package, here's a question for you. If Elon 10x Tesla, again from 600 billion today to 6 trillion in 10 years, and we took a vote to give him 10%, if that was achieved, otherwise he gets nothing, wouldn't you vote yes? Elon is reminding everyone to vote. The annual shareholder meeting is going to be on Thursday. It's almost here. There are rumors going around that the Tesla Model Y refresh will be ready by next month. I'm having a hard time believing that, and Elon responded to the rumor. No Model Y refresh is coming out this year. I should note that Tesla continuously improves its car, so even a car that is 6 months newer will be a little bit better. Now, even if the Model Y refresh would happen this year, there's no point for Elon to say it's coming this year because you are just basically Osborning your carbon sales. And James thinks it's going to happen in Q1 or Q2 of 2025. And James is making another prediction. Model Y upgrade cycle could be the next big phase of growth if it's differentiated enough to get current users to want to upgrade. The changes they made to the Model 3 were very good in my opinion. Top it off with better range and the proposition would be perfect, but nothing would beat a Model or 2 targeting the consumer in the $20,000 to $30,000 market. I agree with that, but there's one exception. FSD being safer than human driving. There are a few changes in China for Tesla. The delivery wait times have now changed to 1 to 6 weeks. Earlier, it was 2 to 6 weeks in some cases, and in others 3 to 6 weeks, but now it's all 1 to 6 weeks. Tesla is offering a 6,000 euro environmental bonus for inventory Model Y in Germany, but the vehicles must be delivered before the end of the quarter to receive that benefit, and it cannot overlap with other financial proposals such as 0 or 1 1.99% interest rates. Ashok, who leads Tesla's FSD team right now, wrote something about Elon Musk, and Elon had no idea he wrote it. Ashok was the first person to join the Tesla AI Autopilot team and ultimately rose to lead all AI and Autopilot software. Without him and our awesome team, we would just be another car company looking for an autonomy supplier that doesn't exist. So here's the piece. Elon Musk has been the key driver of AI and autonomy at Tesla. He has always pushed us to achieve great things, even when such ideas were seemingly impossible at the time. Some examples. Back in 2014, Autopilot started on a ridiculously tiny computer that only had 384 kilobytes of memory and punny compute, and it didn't even have native floating point arithmetic. He asked the engineering team to implement lane keeping, lane changing, longitudinal control for vehicles, curvature, etc. Many even in the team thought that the request was crazy. Nonetheless, he never gave up and pushed the team to achieve this very difficult goal. In 2015, beyond all odds, Tesla shipped the world's first autopilot system. The second closest such product only came to market many years later. In 2016, Tesla started doing all of the computer vision required for autopilot in-house instead of depending on external vendors. Many people thought it was insane to bet the product on developing the vision system from scratch within a few months, which had taken other companies a decade or more. Yet we achieved this target within 11 months. This was a strategically important move that started the development of a strong AI team at Tesla. Not only did he push for strong AI software, but also for powerful AI hardware. Tesla, which others thought was just a car company, was making custom silicon to run neural networks efficiently. This hardware, that was originally designed in 2017, came to production in February 2019 and remains extremely competitive with hardware coming out to date. For reference, this 5-year-old AI computer has roughly 8 times the AI inference compute as the state-of-the-art Apple M3 chip. It is still able to run the latest end-to-end neural networks built on top of the latest AI technology. He was the one who bet on vision and AI to solve autonomy instead of relying on sensor crutches and high-definition maps. For anyone who has experienced the latest versions of FSD, it might be obvious that it can see all the important things and drive the car based on pure vision. However, back in 2020 and earlier, it wasn't obvious to most. In fact, many experts in the field ridiculed Tesla and Elon for these choices. We have proved them wrong by shipping supervised FSD to millions of cars and shown that with good AI software, the car is able to handle the complexities of city driving, such as making turns, handling intersection, yielding to pedestrians, etc., just by seeing outside. In fact, we even removed the radars and ultrasonics just to really focus on the heart of the problem, which is AI. Today, it's almost paradoxical that Teslas have the least amount of raw sensors, yet have the most autonomous capability compared to any production car. Pulling off such a contrary bet was only possible because of his extreme conviction and deep understanding of this problem. He kickstarted the work on humanoid robots at Tesla in 2021, again before any ChatGPT or other obvious examples of the rise of AI. Just like the vehicle autonomy, Optimus is also being developed to be competent, scalable, and cost-effective in order to widely serve the world. I could go on, but plainly Elon is critical for Tesla's success in AI. It is his combination of deep technical understanding, insane perseverance, and relentless hard work that have positioned Tesla to be a leader in real-world AI. Elon's technical intuition to make these important decisions way before others see it is unmatched. If not for Elon's ambition, Tesla might have dwindled to become just another car company. In the future, fully autonomous cars and useful household robots will be commonplace, and the world will think that this was how it was always supposed to be. Until then, we need Elon Musk to push the frontier because he sees it already. So if Elon indeed is not important to Tesla, why do you think such an important person at Tesla, like Ashok, who also owns a lot of Tesla stock, by the way, would praise Elon so much and say that Elon is key to Tesla's future? Maybe it's because Elon is actually important to Tesla's future. I personally really like this. I've mentioned something like this before, but if any of my companies go public, we will prioritize other longtime shareholders of my other companies, including Tesla. So if you have been a shareholder of Tesla and let's say Starlink goes public, we might have some sort of special agreement. Elon says loyalty deserves loyalty. Tesla's board of directors just made a few quick videos. Here are a few clips.
In striking down Elon's pay package, the Delaware court criticized the 2018 disclosures regarding that package and opined that stockholders were not sufficiently informed about the pay package when it was approved and voted on in 2018. We believe that a new stockholder vote takes that argument off the table. Shareholders now have the opportunity to vote again on the 2018 award, with not only complete disclosure of everything that the Delaware court ruled was not sufficiently disclosed then, but also everything Elon and the company have achieved since.
These two proposals are critical to the future of the company. We're embarking on our next phase of growth, and it's imperative that our legal home is one that supports our mission and our big plans for the future. It's also important that Elon is aligned and motivated to create extraordinary value, as he's done for more than 6 years. This is the same pay package that we as a board stood behind and stockholders approved more than 6 years ago, and we stand behind it today. We believed in that pay package in 2018 as we asked Elon to pursue remarkable goals to grow the company. You as stockholders also believed in it in 2018 when you overwhelmingly approved it. And Elon worked for more than 6 years believing that this was the bargain. Time and results have only shown the wisdom of our collective judgment. As importantly, we believe Tesla should fulfill its commitment to Elon as a matter of fair dealing. You have the chance to help us make good on our promise, advance our mission, and continue to grow stockholder value. We urge you to vote now on both the ratification and redomestication proposals to ensure that your voice is heard.
And that's it for today's news. I just published a new exclusive video on Patreon. This is getting out of control, and I explain why. Jason commented, it's very helpful. Thank you. By joining Patreon, you will have access to all of my exclusive videos on Patreon, as well as how much I am willing to pay for each Tesla share between 2024 and 2033. If you join the investor tier, you will also have access to my valuation model, where you will see all of my assumptions, including deliveries, the energy business, Tesla's future businesses like FSD, and of course much more. And then if you want to easily download that and put in your own numbers, then this third tier is for you. To all of my Patreon supporters, thank you so much. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't yet as well. It's really important to like the videos because that makes it less likely that the channel will be shadow banned later, like my other big channel got shadow banned before from about 50% of my regular viewers. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.